on this one. It's the second missile launch we're seeing over Japan in just 1 month. This one went further than the one before. That's the main difference we're seeing. So 3,700 kilometers is the range or the distance that it traveled before falling into the Pacific Ocean with an altitude of 770 kilometers. So that is further than we saw just earlier when that flew over Japan. So clearly North Korea is making progress. We know that happens every time they launch this kind of missile, and once again a very worrying wake-up call for those Japanese residents of the northern island of Hokkaido, waking up to those alarms as the missile flew overhead. Now, the US Pacific Command, their initial assessment was that it was an intermediate range ballistic missile. This is one below the ICBM, that intercontinental ballistic missile, which concerns the United States so much. But it is, when you look at those figures, a missile that would be able to hit the US territory of Guam if it had been facing that particular distance. That is the US territory that Kim Jong-un and North Korea particularly like to threaten in their rhetoric. When they last threatened against Guam, that was when tensions really did increase over the past couple of months. Now, as you say, South Korea had that initial response. They actually fired 2 missiles just 6 minutes after the North Korean missile to show, they say, that they are able to react very quickly, to show that this missile would be able to hit exactly where that North Korean missile was launched from.
Okay, Paula, thank you. Let's go to Phil Black. He's in Tokyo, in a frightening situation for people living there.
Yeah, Max, that's right. More anger, fear, and nervousness, particularly in the country's north, where it's the second time in around 2 weeks that vast numbers of people have been woken by these sirens, that they've received these text messages early in the morning telling them to take shelter indoors because a missile launch has been detected from North Korea. Now, they got the all clear a few moments later. The authorities said they weren't worried about the missile striking Japan. That's why they didn't try to shoot it down, but they were worried about the possibility of falling debris. They believe the type of intermediate range missile that was fired is the same variety that North Korea launched along pretty much the same track around the end of August, with a key difference. This one traveled even further, which means, Japanese authorities say, it could have struck, if it had been fired in a southerly direction instead of an easterly direction, it could have traveled, it could have had the range that would have brought it very close to splashing down around the American territory of Guam, which is something that no one in this region wants to see, because that would be an even greater provocation on the part of North Korea. It could perhaps trigger some sort of military response from the United States. At the very least, people in this region believe it makes the possibility of conflict more likely. So in a sense, it's unacceptable from Japan's point of view that it flew over Japan to the east, but that is still a preferable option to the missile being launched to the south. Japan has condemned this latest missile test. It wants North Korea to stop testing its missiles in this way. It wants international unity in applying greater pressure upon North Korea, and that's the argument it's going to be making in the United Nations Security Council, Max.
Phil Black, thank you very much indeed. CNN's Will Ripley has often been the only Western TV correspondent inside North Korea. In a new CNN documentary airing this weekend, you'll get to hear a lot more of his reporting as well from North Koreans themselves. This clip gives some insight about what it's like inside the Hermit Kingdom and how at least one woman views the United States.
This handful of farmers seems to be